everyone, it's Desiree, and I am here with the Scrapping for Less Flavor of the Month card kit. Now, the theme for the month of June, which is what this is at the beach. So, you know it's just going to be phenomenal, right? Right. So, what I'm going to do is, remember, the downloads, they have the ingredients and the sketch. They will be linked down below, but let's dig in. And I do have to apologize. You see that sheet that says Desiree stickers on the very bottom that just went off to the left? That's actually part of your kit as well, and for some reason, I did not show it. I do apologize. They're great stickers. Now, you get 6 sheets of colored cardstock and 2 sheets of white. So the colors are Blue Raspberry, Night Shift Blue, Orange Fizz, Limeade, Red Hot, and Razzleberry. Know that the white is 110 Nina Smooth. So for the first collection, you get an adorable stamp set by Avery L. called Sea Prize. Yep, cute. You get some great frames and tags by Cartabella. And you also will get some Cartabella enamels. The pattern paper here is Summer Splash by Cartabella. I keep saying that, absolutely. Of course, you get your envelope. There's those enamels. And you also get a Kennedy Grace sequin pack that coordinates with the collection. So that's number 1. So for number 2, I do really like as well that each of your collections are wrapped individually. But that doesn't mean we can't interchange. So for collection 2, Under the Sea by Echo Park is your pattern paper. I think all the patterns that are in this collection are absolutely adorable. I saw a little Nemo there. There's your envelope. You get some Under the Sea frames and tags that would be fantastic to use on your cards just for sentiments alone. You get some wooden anchors. And your stamp set is by Echo Park, and it's called Under the Sea. So, awesome stamp set. And it's a nice size stamp set. And then, of course, your Kennedy Grace sequins that coordinate with the collection. For collection 3, same thing. We always get our envelope, but you can make so many more cards. Your pattern paper is You Are My Sunshine by Little Darling Rubber Stamps. Yes, I read that right. Envelope, we have some great pool character puffy stickers. We have another wonderful set of sequins by Kennedy Grace. This stamp set is LDRS, and it's called Just Beachy, which I think is absolutely gorgeous. And then you also get an Adirondack chair die by Gina Marie. So that's our 3rd collection. Our 4th collection, there's your sequins. You're going to get some Dolphin and Gem stickers. You will get some Sweet Summer mini icons. Your paper is by Doodlebug, and it's called Sweet Summer. And then you also, are getting the stamp set, of course, Sending Sunshine by Sunny Studios. And it's really cute. The parrot. Hello, the parrot. And that's the 4th collection. Now, no, everything that I've just shown up until here, all of that there, that is your Double Dip Sunday level. So if you get with the Double Dip, you get everything that I've just shown here. The paper, the 4 collections, the die, the stamp sets, you get that all. Now, if you sign up with the Banana Split, you get everything that I just showed, plus what I'm about to show you. So here you get some great die cuts, and they're Sweet Summer Chit Chat, which I think is really cute. You get an ink cube. Now, your color will vary. Okay, so you may get a different color that I have. Of course, you get a cute little treat. Your stamp set is At the Beach Sentiment Set by Scrapping for Less. So I think that's great. And I love the glass with the Just Breathe. And then you get this die by Lawn Fawn, and it's the Ocean Wave die. So again, this is added on if you go for the Banana Split. If you just do the Double Dip Sunday, you get everything shown here, banana split, you're going to add these items that I just shown. Now, again, can't stress enough, please note that all of these items are subject to change without notice. So some things may be different. But let's get started in the fun and let's start designing a card. So for collection 1, I'm using sketch number 3. To save some time, because this video did get a little lengthy, I did pre-cut some of my items and get them ready, so to speak. So all of the color or the pattern paper that I'm using and the tags, I'm actually using my vintage photo ink and just going around the edge. This paper by Cartabella just was so vintage to me that how could I resist? Not that I would anyway, because vintage photo will go on anything. It doesn't matter. It could even go on modern deco for me. But I just like the feel of it. I love the vintage feel. So I wanted to just ink around the edges with that vintage photo. I have 3 circles here. And they're different sizes because that's what the sketch shows. Now, again, we use our sketches for inspiration, or you could do exactly what it's shown. So here's a little trick. This circle's going to go off this edge. So I put where the circle, where I wanted it, I flipped it over, and I drew the line. So now I know where to put my foam squares. Then I can use those same lines to place down my design panel. Yes, I find it so much easier instead of trying to figure out where to put the foam squares. Did the same thing sort of to the top. So I have that strip that's coming down, and I have the 2 circles covering the top and the bottom. And then I just have this last circle that's just going to peek in from the right-hand side. So all of the circles were propped up with double-sided foam squares. I'm now going to use my large shears, and I'm going to trim up the sides. I love this part. I don't know why. You know how people say when they do heat embossing with the powder, they love the way that it turns? I love cutting the edges of my design base. I don't know. I'm a little strange. So now I'm just placing the 3 tags that I grabbed, and I'm just making sure that if they're setting flat onto the surface that's raised, that's fine. If they need to have a foam square underneath because they're running off that edge, just so they don't get squished, I'm making sure that happens as well. So between liquid adhesive and my foam squares, it's going to town. And we're just going to set all of these in place. Now for this one, I knew I'd be cutting a section off. I just wanted to make sure though that my person was still there. And I think it's a cute element on the tag. And I didn't want to lose it if I shifted it down too far. I grabbed some baker's twine from my stash. This is actually an aqua and white, and I thought it matched really well, and I'm just intertwining it through these top 2 tags. The bottom tag, I'm going to do something different. But I'm just twining it around, creating loops, and then I'm going to secure it with some double-sided tape on the back of the panel, because I just want to make sure that they are secured down. I'm trimming the excess, and now I'm going to set the second tail in place along the back. But I'm not being too tight with the twine. I want it to be loose, because I'm okay if that flops around a little bit, but I didn't want to go all over the place, if that made sense. So you can see that I have it coming under the circle, looping through the tags, and also dripping or drooping, however you want to say that. Again, it's not tight going through. I'm going to use my tape runner and apply it to my 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 top folding card base. No, that is the majority of the card bases that I do use, and all of these cards are using that type. So 4 1/4, 5 1/2 top folding, just in case I forget to say it again. I'm going to now cut a small piece of a foam square, and I'm going to put it in the center of the tags opening, and I'm going to use one of the enamel dots. I'm going to use the largest one just to cover up that hole. Now, this enamel dot was the perfect size of that hole, of course, so that's why I put a foam square underneath it. just to keep that propped up. Now I'm just placing them down on the bottom right-hand corner. And I changed my mind. I want to flip a couple of these, which made it very easy. And that is our first card. Now, our second card is going to be a little bit more detailed. And there is an error in this card. So, as always, I show it. So, I'm going to use all of the fish stamps. I'm creating a scene with them. So, I started lining them up here along the bottom. I am going to have the fish going on. Now, the sketch that I'm using is sketch number 1. I always keep forgetting to show you all that. But sketch number 1. So, once I have all of my images in place on my, this is Bristol paper, Bristol vellum cardstock, I'm going to use my Versamark ink and stamp down on this. And I'm pretty much going to fill this panel. Once I have it stamped, I'm going to use my clear embossing powder. Because I want them, the Bristol paper, it's close to white, but I like the ivory look when it comes to this paper. So by heat embossing them, they're going to stay that color. Because, of course, I've pulled out my Distress inks. I pulled in all kinds of colors, faded jeans, peacock feathers, broken china, and I'm just going to town when it comes to getting these mushed on there. I do heat set it with my heat tool. I usually like to use my Ranger tool. I can't find it. I moved it somewhere. I'm adding more color because once that layer's dry, I want to add a second layer. But I also want to add more. Now you can see I really sped this up, but I wanted you to see it. So once the 2 layers were dry, I then came in with faded jeans because that's the dark tone that's going to run through this. And once that's set, I'm then going to spritz it with my Distress sprayer and I'm going to add some spray marks. I then grabbed the Small School of Fish stamp with some faded jeans, and I'm just kind of stamping them in the background. I didn't want those to be embossed either. I just wanted them to be like a shadow in the back. Once that's done, I grabbed a piece of scrap black cardstock, and I'm going to stamp my sentiment, and I chose Just Keep Swimming. I love that sentiment, and we all know where it's from, and I love that movie. I'm going to heat set that. I chose silver for my embossing powder. I'm going to use one of my banner dies from my stash and die cut that out. I grabbed one of my finger daubers and the faded jeans again, and I just wanted to go around this panel. Now, are any of you seeing what I did wrong if you have the sketch sheet in front of you compared to where my fishies are? I'm using a rag. I'll let you know in a second. I'm using a rag just to clean off the edging that I just did with the faded jeans. So now I'm coming in with 3 pieces of pattern paper. I chose 3 different colors and I cut them 5.5 by 1 inch. And now I'm just setting them in place. Now, once they're in place, are you seeing it yet? The sketch really did inspire me. And that's what these sketches are. It's because of this kit that I actually am working with sketches. I never really did it before. But I'm finding them very inspiring. So if you can't see this yet, if you look at the sketch, the download, those 3 strips are banners. They have fishtails on the top and the bottom, and the focus center pattern is smaller. So this is my version with the 3 colors in the back and the design panel. Yeah. But you know what? It's not where I wanted to go. Again, I was going left and I'm going to go right now. And it's okay because I still like the card. The sketch did inspire me. I did pull some of the I cannot say this word. See, there I am. I'm showing it. Seashells, I have to say it slow, from the Kennedy Gray sequin pack, And I placed those down at the bottom just to give another bit of color. So for card number 3, I'm actually using sketch number 4. So again, inspiration. So I've cut down my 3 center panels, and they're sitting, I'm going to center them onto my design base, and they're just going to be up a little bit. Because again, you know, I don't really like to center things. If you've seen my previous videos, it's just me. I don't know. I just, you know, so they are up a little bit. And then I have my fishtailed banner that's going to come down across them. And I'm only putting foam tape towards the fishtail. I'm actually doubling the foam squares at the very bottom of that fishtail that's closer to those points. So it's going to be flat on the top, but yet it's going to raise up on the bottom. So I'm creating kind of this dimension towards the bottom of it. Remember, if you do this, to take off the backing paper of your foam squares so that they will stick down. Yeah, it's me. We have fun. I'm going to trim off the edge. And then pretty much our design panel is done. I cut using the Adirondack die, and I did it out of white paper. Yep. So I'm like, So I grabbed a couple of my alcohol markers and I colored it. So if you just have white paper and you've got markers, they don't have to be alcohol markers. You can get colors with markers, whether they're alcohol or not. Bic Market pens are terrific. I used 2 pieces of scrap pattern paper so I can create my hill. I'm using one of my Tim Holtz Distress brushes, which I've fallen in love. I use those only for my Distress oxides. And I have my sky up there, and I'm just coming in with my vintage photo. I'm going to be careful not to cross over. I stamped my umbrella image using Memento tan ink. I believe it's called Desert Sand. And then I went over with my alcohol markers to darken that up. So it's almost, I mean, I don't know. Is that considered no-line Copic coloring? I don't know. But that's how I chose to do it. But mementos work very well because they are made for alcohol markers. But believe it or not, Sharpies and Bic markets, they are alcohol as well. So just something to think about. I set my circle down. I stamped my sentiment, sending you warm wishes. And then I just use some of the Distress ink around the edges. I'm going to set my panel down using my tape runner. And again, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 top folding card base. And the design base that I chose is going to cover the entire front of my card. I grabbed some of my Nouveau drops, and I'm just setting some drops, 3 down in the corner, and I'm setting 3 in the top corner just to give it some accents. So for our 4th card, we're going to use sketch number 2, and I wanted to make a shaker card. I hadn't made a shaker card in a while, but I'm also sticking with the same Distress oxides. The Distress never left my table, so I've got faded jeans, evergreen bow, peacock feathers, and broken china. I'm using my brushes to spread my color on. Now, I have a brush for each color family. That does not include pink. So I have the black, the brown, the red, the orange, yellow, green, blue, and then teal, because we always do have some teals sometimes. So I'm using each of these colors, and I'm doing a variegated look on this top. I use a regular frame die and a square die for the cutout. For my background, I used wild honey to create almost like sun rays coming down. I'm going to set my acetate in place, and then I'll have my double-sided foam doubled, a double layer of that. I'm going to fill in with those beautiful sequins, and I'm going to set my background panel in place. I did also cut, I used the coconut tree or palm tree, whatever we want to call that, from the stamp set. And I use my alcohol markers. You can see that there to the left. And I use my alcohol markers just to color that. Again, to save time, this video, I'm not sure where all the time went, but I didn't want to make this too long. It was already getting close to 30 minutes. I'm going to set the palm tree there off to the right-hand side, and I'm going to let it hang over this piece. I'm grabbing another piece of the pattern paper. I did use one of my frame dies to cut this out, and it is going to cover the entire front. And I'm going to set my strip down before I set my focal point on top. I grabbed 2 of the sentiments, and thank goodness I covered that completely with double-sided foam tape, and I put Sending You Sunshine, and I added 3 dots to the Sending You. Oh, I'm sorry. Now I am setting that strip down, making sure that it is straight. Before I put my focal, yep, I threw that too. I've been throwing a lot of things lately in my videos. It's a little scary. So that just went flying, caught it. Set that down on my card panel, and now I'm going to glue my focal point down as well. And I want to do this on an angle. Again, it can't be straight. But I did want to set this on an angle. So it's almost like it's a photo. I grabbed a button from my stash and some of my twine, and I just cut a piece, and I'm going to quick grab a glue dot because, wow, these things are strong. And they are awesome. So I'm just going to set that button, the back of it, right down onto a glue dot, and then push that down onto the bottom corner, and I'm going to tie a bow over the button. That's our last card. So I want to show you this last card. Now again, that's a card from each of the 4 collections that you get. And now I'm just creating an extra card because I had to use the stamp set from the banana split. So I grabbed a die set for a frame die from my stash, and I used picked raspberry and warm lipstick, and I did the same thing with my brushes, created a gradient along this frame. I did for the centerpiece of this frame, because it actually cuts, the die from my stash cuts these 2 pieces. I wanted the center to show this absolutely adorable doodlebug paper from one of our collections with the little drinks and the smiley faces. Who doesn't smile? No matter what you're drinking, whether it's water, orange juice, or you want to put a splash of vodka in it. Doesn't matter. Can be whatever you want. We should all be smiling. So on the inside, I loved the sentiment, just breathe. So I stamped that 3 times, and I added 3 dots. Now I'm going to set that aside so that it can dry. I did prop up that middle panel with some double-sided foam tape. Matter of fact, I actually used a piece of fun foam. I pulled out my colored pencils. They are my medium of choice to color with. And I'm just using 2 different colors, and I'm going to color in each of the glasses, make them like a rainbow, but not in rainbow order. And then I'm going to make sure that I do the straw, I'm going to do the flower, and the little umbrella. And I'm using a blue to color the glass. So I wanted the glass to stand out just a little bit, so I used some blue with that. So I'm going to, now that that's dry on the inside, because it is a pigment ink, it does take longer to dry, I'm going to grab another piece of pattern paper as well. I real quick grabbed a gray, a very pale gray alcohol marker, just to give shading down there so it doesn't look like they're floating. I always forget that. I'm grabbing this piece of cardstock so that I could have a frame to my awesome drinks that are going straight in the line. I'm going to use the ink pad that comes with the banana split level, and I'm just going to go over the edge. I'm not going to do that like I do with my vintage photo, but I just wanted it on the edge. So if it bled onto the cardstock, that's fine. I'm going to adhere this using my liquid glue right on top of that pattern paper, and it's giving me a 1/8 border on each side of that. And did you see how I threw the eraser? Yep, it just magically appeared there. So I got a little bit of ink because that's what I do. So I used my sand eraser. They work really, really well. And now I'm just going to set this piece in place, but I just want to put another layer of double-sided foam squares in place so that it won't get knocked down. I'm not going to worry about a sentiment on the outside of my card or card because I have the sentiment on the inside. I am going to trim the edges just so that they are even with my card base. And that is our final card. Nope, we're going to add some, oh yeah, I forgot this. We're going to add some white gel pen to accent the sides of the glass. And then I'm going to grab my glossy accents and make my drinks very shiny. And it looks really, really adorable. And I even kept, I made sure I got some bubbles in there. Because it looks like the drink's bubbly, fizzy. So these are the cards. And these are just 5 of the cards that I made from the Scrapping for Less Flavor of the Month June kit. And again, the theme for this kit is at the beach. And how fitting, because yes, I'd like to be there now. I hope you did enjoy the video and the designs that we created today. If you have any questions, make sure you leave them down below, or if you have a comment, you can also leave that down below as well, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. If you like this video, hit the thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. I'd love to have you here as part of my group. All the links, meaning their shop, their blog, this Flavor of the Month kit, which of course is the most important, and also for the ingredient sheet and also the sketch sheet will all be listed down below. Not only make sure you check out the Flavor of the Month kit and get your subscription going because you never want to miss out, but also make sure you check out their blog because there's also a blog hop. You can't miss all of the other wonderful designs that have been created by the design team members for Scrapping for Less. I hope everyone's having a great day and you have some great plans for the weekend. But always remember, be creative.